Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India will be a witness to a splendid and historic moment when it completes 75 years of independence, calls Amrit Kal of next 25 years a period of duty for every countryman. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister expresses happiness on Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav becoming a mass movement, calls upon people to take part in Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. Mr. Modi salutes Shaheed Udham Singh on his Martyrdom Day and pays tribute to other great revolutionaries who sacrificed their all for freedom. Prime Minister talks about the importance of Ayurveda, hails India's emerging toy industries and mentions success of Honey Mission in today's episode. Uttar Pradesh STF arrests 18 people in connection with paper leak racket of today's Lekpal examination. Enforcement Directorate detains Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut in Patra Chaul case. Incessant rain for the last 2 days continue to disrupt normal life in most parts of Uttarakhand. In Commonwealth Games, Jeremy Lalrinunga wins gold medal in men's 67 kg weightlifting today. President, Vice President and Prime Minister congratulate Jeremy. And in CWG cricket, Indian women thrash Pakistan by 8 wickets. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said it will be a splendid and historic moment when India completes 75 years of its independence next month. The Prime Minister called countrymen lucky to have been born in a free country. He added that this present day would have been unimaginable had people been born in the era of slavery. Sharing his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program today, Mr. Modi said the 91st episode of the program is very special as it comes just before completing 75 years of India's independence.
मन की बात का ये 91वां एपिसोड है। हम लोगों ने पहले इतनी सारी बातें की हैं, अलग अलग विषयों पर अपनी बात साझा की है, लेकिन इस बार मन की बात बहुत खास है। इसका कारण है इस बार का स्वतंत्रता दिवस, जब भारत अपनी आजादी के 75 वर्ष पूरे करेगा। हम सभी बहुत अद्भुत और ऐतिहासिक पल के गवाह बनने जा रहे हैं। ईश्वर ने ये हमें बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य दिया है। आप भी सोचिए, अगर हम गुलामी के दौर में पैदा हुए होते तो इस दिन की कल्पना हमारे लिए कैसी होती। गुलामी से मुक्ति की वो तड़प, पराधीनता की बेड़ियों से आजादी की वो बेचैनी कितनी बड़ी रही होगी। वो दिन जब हम हर दिन लाखों लाख देशवासियों को आजादी के लिए लड़ते, जूझते, बलिदान देते देख रहे होते, जब हम हर सुबह इस सपने के साथ जग रहे होते कि मेरा हिंदुस्तान कब आजाद होगा। और हो सकता है हमारे जीवन में वो भी दिन आता जब वंदे मातरम और भारत माँ की जय बोलते हुए हम आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए अपना जीवन समर्पित कर देते, जवानी खपा देते।
The Prime Minister expressed happiness on Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav becoming a mass movement. He highlighted that people from all walks of life and every section of the society are participating in different programs connected with the Amrit Mahotsav.
साथियों, आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव में हो रहे इन सारे आयोजनों का सबसे बड़ा संदेश यही है कि हम सभी देशवासी अपने कर्तव्य का पूरी निष्ठा से पालन करें। तभी हम उन अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों का सपना पूरा कर पाएंगे, उनके सपनों का भारत बना पाएंगे। इसलिए हमारे अगले 25 साल का ये अमृतकाल हर देशवासी के लिए कर्तव्य काल की तरह है। देश को आजाद कराने हमारे वीर सेनानी हमें ये जिम्मेदारी देकर गए हैं और हमें इसे पूरी तरह निभाना है।
Today being the Martyrdom Day of Shaheed Udham Singh, the Prime Minister offered tribute to the great revolutionary leader. He also paid tribute to all those who sacrificed their lives for the country's freedom.
साथियों, 31 जुलाई यानी आज ही के दिन हम सभी देशवासी शहीद उधम सिंह जी की शहादत को नमन करते हैं। मैं से अन्य सभी महान क्रांतिकारियों को अपनी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं, जिन्होंने देश के लिए अपना सर्वस्व न्योछावर कर दिया। साथियों, मुझे देखकर बहुत खुशी होती है कि आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव एक जन आंदोलन का रूप ले रहा है। सभी क्षेत्रों और समाज के हर वर्ग के लोग इससे जुड़े अलग अलग कार्यक्रमों में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं।
Mr. Modi said that an interesting endeavor has been undertaken this month called Azadi Ki Railgadi or Railway Station.
साथियों, इसी जुलाई में एक बहुत ही रोचक प्रयास हुआ है, जिसका नाम है आजादी की रेलगाड़ी और रेलवे स्टेशन। इस प्रयास का लक्ष्य है कि लोग आजादी की लड़ाई में भारतीय रेल की भूमिका को जानें। देश में अनेक ऐसे रेलवे स्टेशन हैं जो स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन के इतिहास से जुड़े हैं। आप भी इन रेलवे स्टेशनों के बारे में जानकर हैरान होंगे। झारखंड के गोमो जंक्शन को अब आधिकारिक रूप से नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस जंक्शन गोमो के नाम से जाना जाता है। जानते हैं क्यों? दरअसल इसी स्टेशन पर कालका मेल में सवार होकर नेताजी सुभाष ब्रिटिश अफसरों को चकमा देने में सफल रहे थे। आप सभी ने लखनऊ के पास काकोरी रेलवे स्टेशन का नाम भी जरूर सुना होगा। इस स्टेशन के साथ राम प्रसाद बिस्मिल और अशफाक उल्लाह खान जैसे जाबाजों का नाम जुड़ा है। यहाँ ट्रेन से जा रहे अंग्रेजों के खजाने को लूटकर वीर क्रांतिकारियों ने अंग्रेजों को अपनी ताकत का परिचय करा दिया था।
The Prime Minister spoke about the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign, which is being held under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के तहत 13 से 15 अगस्त तक एक स्पेशल मूवमेंट हर घर तिरंगा का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। इस मूवमेंट का हिस्सा बनकर 13 से 15 अगस्त तक आप अपने घर पर तिरंगा जरूर फहराएं या उसे अपने घर पर लगाएं। तिरंगा हमें जोड़ता है, हमें देश के लिए कुछ करने के लिए प्रेरित करता है। मेरा एक सुझाव ये भी है कि 2 अगस्त से 15 अगस्त तक हम सभी अपनी सोशल मीडिया प्रोफाइल पिक्चर में तिरंगा लगा सकते हैं।
Mr. Modi spoke about an event held under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Meghalaya earlier this month, where people remember the brave warrior of the state, U. Tirot Singh, on his death anniversary. Mr. Modi said 2nd of August has a special connection with the Indian flag. This day is the birth anniversary of Pengale Venkaiah, who designed the national flag. You also remember the great revolutionary Bikaji Kama, whose role in shaping the tricolour has been very important. Talking about the importance of Indian traditional methods like Ayurveda, the Prime Minister said Ayush has played an important role at the global level. He stated that Ayush exports have witnessed a record growth and many new startups are emerging in this sector.
Sharing success stories, the Prime Minister threw light on how farmers are performing wonders in the production of honey. He said initiatives like National Beekeeping and Honey Mission are transforming lives of farmers by increasing their income. The Prime Minister highlighted various melas and fairs held across the country in this edition of Mann Ki Baat. He spoke about the Minjar Mela of Chamba, which is going on right now. Minjar Mela is celebrated when flowers bloom on the maize. Mr. Modi said fairs have been of great cultural importance in the country as fairs connect people and hearts. Mr. Modi also emphasized on the many traditional fairs of tribal societies in different states. Some of these fairs are associated with tribal culture, while some are organized in connection with tribal history and heritage. Mr. Modi said the Mavli Mela of Narayanpur of Bastar in Chhattisgarh is also very special. He said such old links of the society are important to strengthen the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat.
आपके आसपास भी ऐसे ही कई मेले होते होंगे। आधुनिक समय में समाज की पुरानी कड़ियां एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की भावना को मजबूत करने के लिए बहुत जरूरी है। हमारे युवाओं को इनसे जरूर जुड़ना चाहिए और आप जब भी ऐसे मेलों में जाएं, वहां की तस्वीरें सोशल मीडिया पर भी शेयर करें। आप चाहें तो किसी खास हैशटैग का भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। इससे उन मेलों के बारे में दूसरे लोग भी जानेंगे।
The Prime Minister shared the success stories of the Indian toy industry and gave the credit to the youth, startups and entrepreneurs. He said that when it comes to Indian toys, the echo of vocal for local is being heard everywhere. Mr. Modi stated that the number of toys coming from abroad in India is continuously decreasing. Mr. Modi hailed PV Sindhu, Neeraj Chopra for their recent successes in World Athletics Championship. He said it is a great honor for India to host the 44th Chess Olympiad in Chennai. The Prime Minister also extended best wishes to the players and athletes representing India in the Commonwealth Games.
क्लासरूम हो या खेल का मैदान, आज हमारे युवा हर क्षेत्र में देश को गौरवान्वित कर रहे हैं। चेन्नई में 44वें चेस ओलंपियाड की मेजबानी करना भी भारत के लिए बड़े ही सम्मान की बात है। 28 जुलाई को ही इस टूर्नामेंट का शुभारंभ हुआ है और मुझे इसकी ओपनिंग सेरेमनी में शामिल होने का सौभाग्य मिला। उसी दिन यूके में कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स की भी शुरुआत हुई। युवा जोश से भरा भारतीय दल वहां देश को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है। मैं सभी खिलाड़ियों और एथलीट्स को देशवासियों की ओर से शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India will be a witness to a splendid and historic moment when it completes 75 years of independence. Calls Amrit Kal of next 25 years a period of duty for every countryman. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister expresses happiness on Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav becoming a mass movement. Calls upon people to take part in Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. Mr. Modi salutes Shaheed Udham Singh on his martyrdom day and pays tribute to other great revolutionaries who sacrificed their all for freedom. Prime Minister talks about the importance of Ayurveda, hails India's emerging toy industry and mentions success of Honey Mission in today's episode. Uttar Pradesh STF arrests 18 people in connection with paper leak racket of today's Lekpal examination. Enforcement Directorate detains Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut in Patra Chaul case. Incessant rain for last 2 days continue to disrupt normal life in most parts of Uttarakhand. In Commonwealth Games, Jeremy Lal Nirunga wins gold medal in men's 67 kg weightlifting today. President, Vice President and Prime Minister congratulate Jeremy. In Commonwealth Games cricket, Indian women thrashed Pakistan by 8 wickets. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back. You are tuned to the evening news on All India Radio. The Special Task Force of Uttar Pradesh Police has arrested 18 people today in connection with the paper leak racket of Lekpal examination held today. The Lekpal exam was held between 10 a.m. to 12 noon at various centers across the state. These arrests were made in different districts of state including Varanasi, Bareilly, Prayagraj, Lucknow and Kanpur. Arrests include solvers from Bihar also who were impersonating as a candidate and trying to use electronic devices during the examination. STF says no paper leak took place as action was taken before that. The Enforcement Directorate ED officials today detained Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut in Patra Chaul case. Earlier in the day, the ED conducted a search at Sanjay Raut's residence in Mumbai in connection with a money laundering case. The case linked to alleged irregularities involving the redevelopment of a Mumbai chawl. Officials informed that the action follows two summons issued by the ED against Raut on the 20th and 27th of July. Raut skipped the first summon and informed through his lawyers that due to the ongoing parliament session, he could appear only after August 7th. He had recorded his statement once on July 1st. The ED had attached Raut's properties in Dadar and Alibag in the case.
NIA today conducted searches at multiple locations in 6 states into the activities of ISIS module case. It carried out searches at 13 premises of suspects in Bhopal and Raisen districts in Madhya Pradesh, Bharuch, Surat, Navsari and Ahmedabad districts in Gujarat, Araria district in Bihar, Bhatkal and Tumkur districts in Karnataka, Kolhapur and Nanded districts in Maharashtra and Devband district in Uttar Pradesh in the case pertaining to activities of ISIS. The searches conducted today have led to the seizure of incriminating documents. Sanjay Arora has been appointed as next Delhi Police Commissioner. He is the Director General of the ITBP and a 1988 batch officer of Tamil Nadu cadre. Delhi Police Commissioner Rakesh Asthana's tenure ended today. The Ministry of Home Affairs order also said S.L. Towson, Director General Sashastra Seema Bal SSB, shall hold additional charge of the post of DG ITBP.
The Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways and Ayush, Sarbananda Sonowal, affirmed India's commitment towards unlocking the trade potential with the Central Asian region through the use of Chabahar Port in Iran. The minister was addressing a conference in Mumbai today on the occasion of Chabahar Day. Mr. Sonowal said that the Indian government envisions to make Chabahar Port a transit hub under the International North-South Transport Corridor, INSTC, to reach out to Commonwealth independent states countries. He said that Chabahar Port has emerged as significant for trade, economic collaborations and connecting people between the two geographies. MOS Shripad Yeso Naik and a high-level diplomatic delegation from the countries of the Central Asian region were also present on the occasion. And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember great revolutionary freedom fighter Udham Singh, who was executed by the British on the 31st of July 1940 for assassinating Michael O'Dwyer, the former Lieutenant Governor of Punjab, to avenge the wrongs of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre.
Udham Singh was deeply inspired by Bhagat Singh and called him his guru and best friend, and carried a photograph of him in his wallet. Bhagat Singh's influence on Udham Singh can be gleaned from a letter the latter wrote in March 1940, where he says,
It is since 10 years when my friend Bhagat Singh has left me behind, and I'm sure after my death I will see him as he is waiting for me. It was the 23rd when they hanged Bhagat Singh, and I hope they will hang me on the same date as he was.
Like Bhagat Singh, Udham Singh too used his trial as a platform to put forward his political and revolutionary ideas. In his trial, Singh asserted,
I did it to protest, and this is what I mean. We are suffering from the British Empire. They order machine guns to fire on Indian students without hesitation. I have nothing against the public at all. I have more English friends in England than I do in India. I have great sympathy with the workers of England, but I am against the dirty British government. You people are suffering the same as I am suffering.
Udham Singh, just like his friend Bhagat Singh, ended his court speech with slogans advocating revolution and the abolition of British imperialism.
The accused would be hanged till death. Down with British imperialism! Down with British tyranny! Inqilab! Inqilab! Inqilab!
Shaheed-e-Azam Udham Singh was hanged on the 31st of July 1940 at Pentonville Prison. In 1974, Singh's remains were exhumed and repatriated to India. The casket was received by Indira Gandhi, Shankar Dayal Sharma and Zail Singh.
On the 2nd of August 1974, his ashes were divided into 7 urns and distributed, one each to Haridwar, Kiratpur Sahib, Roza Sharif, Sunam and the museum at Jallianwala Bagh, and 2 urns to the library of the Shaheed Udham Singh Arts College in Sunam. All India Radio News salutes the great revolutionary freedom fighter.
We also remember freedom fighter Dhiran Tirthagiri Gounder, popularly known as Dhiran Chinnamalai, who was martyred on the 31st of July, 1805. Belonging to the Gounder community, Chinnamalai was one of the commanders in the Polygar Wars, notably during the Second Polygar War that took place in 1801-1802.
Dhiran Chinnamalai was born on the 17th of April 1756 in Melapalayam near Erode, Tamil Nadu. He helped Tipu Sultan in his war against the British and were instrumental in victories at Chitteswaram, Mazavalli and Srirangapatna.
After Tipu's death, Chinnamalai settled down at Odanilai in Kongunadu and constructed a fort there and defeated the British in battles at Kaveri in 1801, Odanilai in 1802 and Arachalur in 1804.
Chinnamalai left his fort to avoid cannon attack and engaged in guerrilla warfare. He was captured by the British and was hanged at Sankagiri Fort on the 31st of July 1805. AIR News salutes the great freedom fighter. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
In Uttarakhand, incessant rain for last 2 days continue to disrupt normal life in most parts of the state. In Dehradun, rivers and streams are in spate. The Met Department has issued a yellow alert in most districts from today till the 2nd of August. In view of this, the SDRF and the concerned officials have been instructed to take special precautions in sensitive areas. People living near rivers and streams have been advised to move to safer places. According to the Disaster Management Department, more than 160 roads are blocked in the state due to landslides. In connection with the annual pilgrimage of Sri Amarnath Ji, Chhadi Sthapna ceremony of the Holy Mace was performed amid chanting of Vedic hymns at Amareshwar Temple Akhada building in Srinagar today. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Shri Mubarak, the Holy Mace, one depicting Lord Shiva and another goddess Parvati, will be kept in the Amareshwarji temple in Srinagar, enabling the devotees to pay their obeisance till August 7, and thereafter shall be taken for the main course of pilgrimage of Shri Amarnathji. The traditional Chhari Pujan is scheduled to be performed on Tuesday, the 2nd of August, on the occasion of Nag Panchami, the Shravan Shukla Paksh Panchami, at the Amareshwar temple in Srinagar. Shri Mubarak shall leave on 7th of August for the holy cave shrine from Srinagar, and the traditional pujan and other rituals shall be performed on the auspicious occasion of Shravan Purnima, coinciding the festival of Raksha Bandhan. On 12th of August, it would mark an end of this year's annual pilgrimage of Shri Amarnathji. Sunil Kohl for AIR News from Srinagar.
Meanwhile, more than 294,000 pilgrims have paid their obeisance at the holy cave.
At the Birmingham Commonwealth Games, Jeremy Lal Renunga won the gold medal for India in the men's 67 kg category in weightlifting today. Jeremy lifted a total of 300 kgs. He lifted 140 kgs in snatch and 160 kgs in clean and jerk. This is India's second gold and fifth overall medal at the CWG Games. Talking to media, Jeremy said he was happy to have won gold medal for the country. He said he is going to prepare hard for the Paris Olympics.
परफॉर्मेंस के लिए मैं खुश नहीं हूँ क्योंकि काफी प्रिपेयर किया इसके लिए और ठीक है कि मेरा गोल्ड मेडल मिल गया मुझे 3 एंड में हम जैसे ही स्टार्ट किया था तो मेरा मसल फ्रंट थाइस और इनर थाई क्रैम्प होने लग गया था उसका वजह से वॉकिंग भी नहीं हो रहा था वार्मिंग अप भी नहीं कर पाया था मैंने और वार्मिंग अप में भी मैंने 140 तक मुश्किल से किया था मैंने गोल्ड मेडल हमारे देश के लिए लेके आया 300 में वो तो अच्छी है पेरिस ओलंपिक के लिए मैं तैयारी करूंगा 73 kg में बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे क्योंकि हर एथलीट का सपना होता है कि पोडियम में हमारा नेशनल एंथम बजे.
In women's cricket, India trounced Pakistan by 8 wickets to keep its hopes alive in the event. Chasing the target of 100 runs in a rain-truncated match of 18 overs, Indian Eves reached the target in 11.4 overs. Smriti Mandhana top-scored with 63 runs. In women's boxing, Nikhat Zareen stormed into the quarterfinals of the 50 kg event. Nikhat defeated Helena Ismail Bagao. However, in the men's category, Shiva Thapa lost to Reese Link of Scotland 1-4 in the light weight category. Thapa missed out on the win by a split decision. Indian men's table tennis team continued a successful defence of their title as they thrashed Bangladesh 3-0 to enter the semi-finals. Women's team will present its challenge in the semi-finals late tonight. In hockey, India versus Ghana match is now underway. And in badminton, India will face South Africa in the quarterfinals of the mixed team event. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have congratulated Jeremy Lalirunga for winning gold. In a tweet, Ms. Murmu said Jeremy's self-belief despite injury during the event enabled him to create history and inspire millions. She said his podium finish has filled Indians with pride. The Vice President said our weightlifters continue to make India proud with their stupendous performances. Mr. Modi said our Yuva Shakti is creating history. He said at a young age Jeremy has brought immense pride and glory. They conveyed best wishes to Jeremy for his future endeavours. Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has also congratulated Jeremy. He said Jeremy's gold is a perfect example of the growth of an athlete from Khelo India to TUP's core group.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla today laid the foundation stone of synthetic track at Srinathpuram Stadium in Kota, Rajasthan. The construction of the track, sanctioned under Khelo India, will cost 7 crore rupees. Addressing the function, Mr. Birla said that the construction of synthetic track will provide better facility to the players. He said during the rainy season, the players faced problems and were demanding the construction of the synthetic track. The third edition of Vietnam-India Bilateral Army Exercise ex-Winbacks 2022 will begin tomorrow at Chandi Mandir. It will continue till 20th August. The exercise is a sequel to previously conducted bilateral exercise in Vietnam in 2019 and a major milestone in strengthening the bilateral relations between India and Vietnam.
And in news in hockey, Indian men's team started off brilliantly against Ghana, scoring 3 goals in the first half of the match. Abhishek opened the account for India through a penalty corner in the very first minute of the game. Later, team extended their lead when Harmanpreet Singh scored the second goal in 14th minute of the play. Samsher scored the third goal. And now let us have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai are expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata is expected to have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. In the south, Hyderabad will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Bengaluru and Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. In the northeast, Guwahati, Imphal, Aizawl, Shillong and Itanagar will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And Gangtok is expected to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India will be a witness to a splendid and historic moment when it completes 75 years of independence, calls Amrit Kaal of next 25 years a period of duty for every countryman. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister expresses happiness on Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav becoming a mass movement, calls upon people to take part in Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. Mr. Modi salutes Shahid Udham Singh on his martyrdom day and pays tribute to other great revolutionaries who sacrificed their role for freedom. Prime Minister talks about the importance of Ayurveda, hails India's emerging toy industry and mentions success of Honey Mission in today's episode. Uttar Pradesh STF arrests 18 people in connection with paper leak racket of today's Lekpal examination. Enforcement Directorate detains Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut in Patra Chaul case. Incessant rain for the last 2 days continue to disrupt normal life in most parts of Uttarakhand. In Commonwealth Games, Jeremy Lalrinunga wins the gold medal in men's 67 kg weightlifting today. President, Vice President and Prime Minister congratulate Jeremy. And in CWG cricket, Indian women thrash Pakistan by 8 wickets. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.